Hi, this is Jim Musser with Upstream Ministries, and this is episode 81 on Views from Downstream. And yesterday, at church, I was talking with a father of some, I think, grade school children, and he was commenting on how smart they were. And I had told him about my history working with college students, and he said, yeah, he said, I'm sure that my kids are going to want to go to college, but I really don't want to send them. And he went on to explain that his fear would be that they would be turned away from the faith. And unfortunately, that is the view of much of the Christian culture in America these days, that universities, state-run universities, are bad. They're going to lead our kids astray, and we need to protect them. We need to either have them earn a trade or send them to a Christian college, because we don't want them, of course, to be led astray in their faith and turned away from their faith. And yet that view is missing a couple of very important points. First of all, God is at the university at work. It happened in my own life. I became a Christian my freshman year in college, and I saw God's work in students' lives during my 38 years of working with them on college campuses. And the second point is that it ignores the fact that Jesus called all of us to go and make disciples, teaching everyone that will listen to obey everything he's commanded and to baptize them. And the university is a mission field, and it is a very crucial mission field, because if you step back and take a look at culture, you know that the university is influencing the culture. And often I would say, when I went to speak to churches, what's going on in the university right now, we'll begin to see in the culture in 10 years from now. Those seeds are planted for cultural change at our universities. So what happens if Christians, because they want to protect their children, abandon the university and the mission field there? What happens? Well, basically, we have no influence. Now, as with the story of Esther, God will use other people. He will use other means by which to reach college students, to reach faculty, if we decide we are not going to allow our kids to be a part of that witness. But we're missing out. And the reason kids often go to college and have their faith challenged, and maybe they cannot defend it and leave it, is because the foundations, the solid spiritual foundations, have not been laid in their lives. I am convinced of that. I am convinced that if we follow the model of the first century church, we will see a very different outcome. Because when you think about it, the first century church was about 70 years old at the end of the century. And it was in existence in one of the most pagan cultures that has ever existed. And yet, people came to follow Jesus, and the church grew, and those kids of those Christians that were raised in that environment not only survived, but they thrived. So if you're a parent and you're skeptical, afraid even of sending your child to a state university, then step back and look at the impact that your child may have on the people at the university, fellow students. That's what happened to me. Fellow Christian students witnessed to me by their lives and by their love. And it can be the same if we send our Christian kids to that college or university. They, along with others, can really impact a lost generation. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I'm saying that we do not need to fear the influence of the university if we have prepared the foundations of our kids spiritually, that they can thrive in that environment. They will know how to answer challenges to their faith. And also, as I talked about last week, if we get our kids connected before they ever get to college with spiritual resources, with other Christians, with campus ministries, with churches, then when they run into things where they're challenged, maybe they're struggling, they have people they can go to who are experienced with dealing with those challenges. So I hope that this will help you to consider a different perspective if you're one of those that just says, no, my child is not ever going to go to a state university because of all the sin there, all the unbelief there. I hope this will change your perspective, because we need solid young believers who are young, who are college age, to witness to their peers who are lost right now and searching, like I was as a freshman. And so just keep in mind that you can prepare your children for that time where they may be challenged. You don't need to run away from it. God is big, God is strong, and we do not need to fear what the enemy is doing on our universities. We need to represent him, be his light in those dark places. And God can use your kids to do that. And so I encourage you to be open to sending your child or allowing them to go to a state university or a private non-Christian university, so that they can be his witnesses on those important mission fields. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and we'll see you next week with another topic. Have a great day.